This is a usual time for dugout, but England team has been so kind that they said, why make them work extra hard, do one dugout, then do post-match late in the night, this and that. Let's combine it for the benefit of Sports Today's employees and viewers and give them the post-match with the dugout, and that's exactly what has happened, courtesy the English team. It reminds me of one ad when you go to a theatre to watch a film. Another theatre. It says that ये शहर को हुआ क्या है कहीं धुंधला कहीं, you know that ad?
Yeah.
It's a smoking ad or something.
Oh yes,
yes. शहर को आखिर हुआ क्या है, सब कुछ धुंधला धुंधला, something like that. हाँ, कहीं धुआं कहीं कुछ है, ऐसे टाइप है ना. So that's my question to the English cricket team कि इस English cricket team को हुआ क्या है?
धुआं धुआं हो गई.
धुआं
ना, तितर बितर.
Titter bitter would roughly translate to what? Helter skelter.
हाँ, helter skelter.
Helter skelter.
Yeah. Isn't it?
But helter skelter is a state of panic. Now, helter skelter should have been after the second loss. Today,
Now, I would say titar bitar in the sense everything is falling apart for them. Everything has fallen apart for them. What is the silver lining that you can take? Boundary count, Sri Lanka has comfortably outscored them even here. You have not won in the 21st century in a World Cup to Sri Lanka. You have not won. 7 you won by 3 runs. 11 they dismissed you by 10 wickets. 2015 by 9 wickets. 2019 20 runs here, 8 wickets. Soon in 2027 they'll do 7 wicket win. Slowly, surely they will achieve the set.
So this is the 4th straight World Cup loss, 50 over World Cup loss.
7, 11, 15, 19, 5th straight.
5th straight.
Yes. England last won in 1999 against Sri Lanka. They can't beat this Sri Lanka team also.
Ooh.
why do you say this?
That's actually a shocker of a stat. I didn't know that.
England in the 21st century heading was 6-1 head to head. 24 years later it's 6-6. All tied up.
It reminds me of what Dhoni said. Records are meant to be broken.
Yes.
No, but this English team is शहर को हुआ क्या है? I want to know what has happened to this English team. But to be fair, one reason, and we'll dwell into various other. One reason is all the cribbing that came from England. One was, I think, they started cribbing about outfield, Dharamshala.
Yes.
Even
They
before the
started
match.
first. Then I saw their media cribbing about empty seats.
They did make a hue and cry about it.
Empty seats in the stadium.
Yep.
So they're busy doing this, cribbing about it. It takes me back to the Australian teams when they used to come to India and not be able to win. And then when they sat down to discuss that how is it that you can reach that final frontier. This happened under Steve Waugh's captaincy when they sat down together and took decision. Though the final frontier wasn't broken under Steve Waugh, it was done under Ricky Ponting. But this right decision that they had taken was that what's it that we can't be winning in India? What's the reason we can't be winning in India? And one of the things that zeroed in on is the fact that most Australian players would just come on the tour side complaining. Heat, food is not good, we get belly, this, grounds are not good, outfields you cannot dive, pitches are like rank turner, hazara. First thing that they sat together, Steve Waugh and co, and said, listen, you got to go and enjoy that part of the country. Start liking that experience. It's a different experience. So, because you're not used to that, it's very different to our culture and our experience, does not mean that any experience is inferior to anything. Learn to enjoy it. That's when they changed that mentality and started coming to India, enjoying Indian food, enjoying the weather, enjoying the spin-friendly conditions, and they took it as a challenge that, hello, this is also a challenge that you have to. And that's when slowly and gradually Australian teams started doing better in India. This is something that this English team needs to learn. They came here all sorts of crib factors, and here they are, almost. I mean, mathematically they have a chance.
Mathematically they have a chance, because if you win your remaining 4 games, which is against India, if you win on against Australia, Pakistan, yes, and against the Netherlands, you'll get to only 10 points. That's it.
Yeah, but as that there is a bit of a close contest for that 4th spot. Assuming if Australia were to lose a game,
if Australia lose to New Zealand, South Africa lose to Pakistan, or if South Africa beat Pakistan.
Yeah, or doesn't. I mean, let's say South Africa goes through. If assuming, let's say India, New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia has a bit of a stutter, then with 5 wins also you can go through.
Yeah.
But for that you need to win 5 games. The way England is going, I'm sorry, they have a mathematical chance, as we just pointed out. 5 games they've played, and they've won 1, 4 losses, so 2 points, which means they have 4 games remaining, 8 and 2, 10. Mathematically on 10 points also you could go through.
Yes.
Provided that out of the remaining 4 games, Australia lose 2 and win 2, 10 tied, then there could be something, or New Zealand end up losing 3 out of their remaining 4, something mathematically. But first they'll have to be dependent on other teams, and even if this was to happen, I don't see England winning all the remaining 4 games, because versus India in Lucknow, you're going to get a spin friendly track, and the kind of mindset that this English team is in, and the mindset that the Indian team is in, I think it will be another no contest. So
another no contest. Plus you've got Australia and Ahmedabad. They are high on confidence. Then you've got Pakistan. A demoralized Pakistan on November 11th can still upset the apple cart for England. So they aren't making. It's not coming home.
It's not coming home.
It's not coming home.
Yeah, they got it when they were at home. They got it when they were at home.
Yeah, they got it.
So they can't go and bring it home. Though they went to Australia and brought it home, the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
But I mean, jokes aside, this is massive. Defending champions, just about winning 1 game for now. We don't know how many, but clearly out of the top 4. A lot of people had not. I'll be honest, I'd picked them in my top 4. I had.
Everyone did. I can't think of it. I remember we did that video as well, where we put together the predictions of the finalist predictions of 15 experts. I remember bulk of them having India, England. Yes. There were just 2 experts. I think it was DK who went with India, Pakistan.
No, there were a few that went with India, Pakistan, and 1 or 2 that went with India, Australia. So there were a few, but I agree.
But more than 2/3 were all India, England.
Yeah, they were. But if you about couple of weeks ago when we did a reset predictions, I had eliminated England from that.
You did.
I put New Zealand already at the start of the World Cup. I had put South Africa out and then changed it to South Africa.
Yeah.
The only one we mighty disappointed, as I've said, he's not been coming to office precisely for this reason, is Shane Dyas. He's a big England fan.
And
he had predicted them to win the tournament, I think.
He said that England have 11 batters.
Yeah, Shivam points out.
I think he is hiding.
Now he was supposed to come back in 2 days, but provided they would have won here. Now that England have lost, how many more days now he's not going to come, I think?
He's gone incommunicado. He's not coming at least for the end of this week.
In fact, when we were dissecting the first innings, we were talking about it. We were remembering Shane as to, so we are also livid with England, let's say, even as neutral as to what they're doing, white ball champions across 2 formats, what's exactly wrong with them? And we're thinking, if this is our disappointment, what would Shane Dyas be at the moment? What would his rant be like?
He said incommunicado.
He's gone incommunicado.
What we can do, if he's hearing this, because he's not answering his phone, what we can do is send him a request that how about he send us a video from the remote location that he is in. You have these guys who rant sometime, right? Yes. About football teams.
You know very well the guy that you're talking about.
No, there are a few.
But it started with that guy only, the angry rant man. That's his name, I think, on YouTube. He also is a Chelsea's fan, and Shane would know very well how rants work.
So I'm going to tell Shane, if you're listening, since you're not answering Siddharth's phone, we don't know when you're going to come back.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, from your remote location, send us a video with an angry rant. If you are angry, If you're crying, then let it be a sobbing rant.
Sob.
Whatever it is, whatever your mood is in, send us a rant. At least the folks on Sports Today, our subscribers, at least they get to see that. And then maybe later tell us also when he's going to join back.
In fact, that famous rant that does the rounds very often, it starts with, this guy saying, there is no passion, there is no aggression, there is no vision. It falls into place for England at the moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't make sense of this England team. They, as I had mentioned, if you are giving that car analogy, they seem to be like the Lamborghini or the Rolls Royce when it came to white ball cricket. On Indian roads, which are like up, down, not easy to adapt. It's not a proper Pata road. They are just collapsing and breaking into pieces at this point in time.
I have a question for you guys. Now that England look all but out of the tournament, doesn't look like they're going to make the top 4. What do teams like India, what do teams that have been wanting to, or have liked, let's say, the philosophy of having somebody bat at 8, 9, elongating the batting as much as possible? What sort of a message does this send across to the teams that have been trying to ape England? Does it change things for them?
See, by the way, I do not think India is trying to ape England, at least not in one-day cricket. And that has worked for Indian. Thank God for the fact that they are not trying to ape England. And that's really worked for India. I'll tell you why. I go back to, if you're a regular subscriber of Sports Today, you'll know our rants against Bazball as well. So I'd like you to go back. And at that time, a lot of you, did not agree with us and would constantly, question, which is fine for two-way discussion, but I'm just going back to it. That what they're trying to do, and this is a common sort of an issue with this English team, is that they are so obsessed with a philosophy, so obsessed with the headline and the statement that they want to make, that they're forgetting the larger picture of how to win a game. I'm going to give you an analogy or an example. Sanjay Manjrekar, he wrote a autobiography, you read it, in which he accepts that while he was playing, he was obsessed with technique.
Yeah.
He needed to always be correct. So his obsession was that it doesn't matter how many runs I'm getting, but the way I'm getting those runs, I need to be careful about that. So it's in the manner that I play, how good that I look, I have to play the right way. It doesn't matter if I've gotten out, but I can't be playing ugly cricket and be getting my run. So that was his philosophy. And he continued to play like that. Now in hindsight, when he looks back at his career, he says, maybe that is something that I could have changed. May have been looked to be more productive rather than be so obsessed with technique. Technique is all good, but it cannot override the basic motive that you have as a batter is to go out and get runs. You can't override that. If on certain pitches, certain conditions against certain bowling, you have to get ugly runs, well, so be it. That's what makes Sachin Tendulkar great. Despite being such an outstanding batter, a great batter, in difficult condition, he didn't mind looking ugly. He didn't care for what the world would have to say. Because at the end of the day, how many matches you win, how many runs you score is what people will remember. So that when he's saying it in hindsight, and that's why I'm extending that to this English team. They're obsessed with being this team that takes on the game, being this team that are ahead of the curve, being this team that is redefining cricket. They have to a certain extent, I don't deny that, but you cannot in all of that leave behind your common sense. There is a reason cricket is played a certain way and certain things you have to adapt to, change. Sometimes this cavalier approach that they have works in T20 because you have no other option, and with 10 wickets in hand in T20 you can have that cavalier approach, and that's the only one dimension, which is why I say, even though fans of T20 cricket, which is why I say it's my least favorite format, because tactically you can do things but very limited. Tactically, the longer the game, the scope of coming up with different tactics, more nuanced sort of planning can only happen the longer game. So that's why Test cricket remains Test cricket, because you have to spend so much more time and thought and ideas to win a game. Next comes ODI cricket, where also you have to change gears, be different. You can't just come, I'm going to play one day, and this is not just all assumption. It was pretty evident from the fact, I go back to that press conference where Joss Butler comes on the eve of the World Cup starting, captain's press conference, and says, somebody says, oh, as defending champion, will you feel pressure? And says, don't use the word defending. There is not an iota of defense. There's not a bone that is defensive in our bodies. He didn't say the exact words, but I'm just paraphrasing. Basically, he said doesn't like the word defensive. So we are aggressive, and that's what. But you're too obsessed with that mentality, too obsessed with that image of yours, that you are not looking at the basics, right? They made those mistakes in the Ashes as well. They came back, yes. Baseball worked for them in the latter half, did not work from them in the first half. For all you know, if they had applied that, good mix of caution and aggression, they could have very well won the Ashes.
Absolutely, wouldn't have declared in that second test.
Exactly.
First test, man. Foolhardy, absolutely.
So in ODI cricket also, that's why I say ODI cricket is far more nuanced than a T20 game. Look at India. You will have a Rohit Sharma who plays that kind of cricket, but you will also have a KL Rahul and a Virat Kohli who will play this kind of cricket. You'll have a Shreyas Iyer who might play an aggressive form like Rohit Sharma, that kind. But you will also have, Virat Kohli come and number 3 play very differently, or a Shubman Gill play very differently to all of that. So you need different types of batters. If you're going to have all of the same carbon copy of the same and play that way, I think there will be many other reasons when we look at dissect England's performance. But I think this is that number one reason, that and the fact that their stroke making, where they just hit through the line, works, I've said it earlier, works in English conditions in South Africa and in Australia, not two pace pitches, true pitches where the bounce is pretty good and the ball really flies off and comes onto the bat. Here the ball doesn't fly off the pitch here, right? So you have sticky pitches here, sometimes double paced as well, pitches with grip as well, where variation comes into play. The 6 hitting and 4 hitting here is a different style of batting. You need to adapt. Just as Indian batters born and brought up here, when they play on those pitches, they have to adapt to that pitches where the ball flies on the pitch and hit those strokes. Similarly, they'll also have to apply. You can't come and say, close my eyes, see the ball, hit through the line, it will be a 6. It may be in Southampton, but may not be at the Chinnaswamy Stadium.
Just extending that point of England thinking that they will apply the same template over here. What they failed to do is, remember, this is the philosophy that they believed in very truly in last year's T20 World Cup as well, and it worked all the way in the run up to the final. But they had to play with caution in the final. There were testing times. Ben Stokes had to readjust and then take his opportunity only when there was a loose ball, because they knew they couldn't have afforded to lose more wickets. Played with caution.
2019 final.
2022.
Also 19.
Also 19,
yeah.
Also 19, 22 even more, because again we hadn't seen that version of England all along in the tournament. They had to recalibrate their approach.
Yeah.
Today, and even all along in that South Africa match as well, all you needed to do as batters was just wait it out, just take your moment. Let there be a couple of maiden overs if need be, but just suck out the pressure of the situation. Don't be in that position for too long. You got to understand that for 4th gear, you got to come to 2nd gear at times. Today again, the same mistake. So no learning for me.
Yep.
From all those defeats to today, there's absolutely been no learning.
Yep.
Look, the problem is flexibility. What was the key factor in 2019 and 2022? Adapting to the situation and flexibility.
Exactly.
Today, 4 classic cases where there was absolutely no adaptability. Look at the shot that Ben Stokes played.
True.
Reverse sweep, okay, when you are 5 down or 6 down.
But got saved over there, right?
That isn't the point.
I agree. The mentality.
Yeah. Sure, you may want to get out of jail, you may want to ensure that, okay, it has served them well in the past. But this wasn't the pitch, this wasn't the attack to do it to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Adaptability, had they gotten it, Thikshana would have then said, okay, I'm bowling stump to stump, play him out. You had chances with Lahiru Kumara, but then what did Ben Stokes do? Immediately after the drinks break, go for a pull shot, but he found the fielder.
Yeah.
1. So those 2 classic instances. Number 3, Liam Livingstone.
Nothing
6
short.
balls, a slog to a ball that's coming in, and if they had seen the dismissals, every dismissal, look at Butler, outside off, poked, no application. Malan, poke. Kumara was getting the ball coming in. It was only a matter of time. Why did he go for that ungainly hoik just with the 6th ball, and that too in his team where 4-5 down?
Yeah.
Same, no, this is what I'm saying. When you're obsessed with a template more than being
Circumspect.
game aware or having some sort of a approach which is, I mean, that's game awareness is the one thing that you need, and not obsessed with my image, like how am I being perceived has become far greater than what result I'm achieving. That is the problem. And I mean, you're saying I agree with those shots, but also, look at the team management, how much confidence you're giving them. You lost a couple of games, you changed the entire team.
3 changes today, yeah.
Again, you made 3 changes today. Last, I think you made 4 previous game. You dropped 4 all-rounders, I think, at a stretch. And again, you make 3. So it is just reflective of the fact that you're panicking. Yeah, you're panicking in your team.
You gave a debut game to Atkinson, took him out. Again, made 3 changes today. Karan stays out of the picture. Willie comes back and whatnot. So there's a lot of changing happening.
They didn't even do that conspiracy theory we said that Jofra Archer would come and.
Nothing.
Was it discussed yesterday?
No.
No.
Okay.
See,
I
that's
think a few days ago, right?
Few days.
Where we heard that Topley was injured.
Yep.
Topley went out.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he said,
yeah.
is it a genuine injury or is it an injury to ensure this 2 games before this to ensure that Archer comes in? Archer did not come in. So, but that I don't know how much that would have helped.
Anyway, with Archer coming in also, as I said, with Pakistan, you give them a rank turner to their spinners, they can't spin the ball. Similar, the England team is so low on confidence. And now see, 5 matches, lost 4, and that too, they haven't lost, they have been battered.
By the way, on the Pakistan front, I know Siddharth's done a video also on that. The press release, did you guys see the press release today from the PCB?
Which, I saw in the story, yeah.
So, I mean, because we are talking about panic in the English camp. So, Pakistan board sent a press release a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Saying that please, these rumors about rift in the team are not true. When it comes from there, it could very well be true. But truth be told, in Pakistan's case, is not always a bad thing. Some sort of issues within the team sometimes works to their advantage.
Yeah.
But the fact that PCB sent a release, you knew that there was something happening there. But they sent one to ensure that media reports are wrong, so and so. And they did a similar thing at the Asia Cup as well after they were knocked out of Sri Lanka. I was there, and I know that there was a thing that did happen between Shaheen and Babar. May not have been to the extent that reports suggested. Of course, they could have been exaggerated, but things did happen. Anyway. Today's press release, they've actually thrown their captain under the bus.
Yes.
They have, within the lines, if you read, within the lines, they have written, they generally are saying that, listen, this is a tournament happening, blah, 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 we'll see whatever happens at the end of the tournament. But soon after that, there is a line where it reads that Captain Babar Azam and Inzumamul Haq, the chairman of selectors, had a free hand in selecting the team. They've written this, and whatever now decision has to be made,
best interest of Pakistan
will be kept in best interest. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me, in other words, it's simply saying that Babar and Inzi, chairman of selector, captain, listen, we gave you whatever you wanted, free hand, select whatever you want, go with it, but almost you're out, now you're not going to make it unless there's a miracle.
Yes.
But at the end of this World Cup, Babar, you're done with your captaincy. Inzamam, you're done as the chairman of selector. This is literally what they've said in that press release. So they've really thrown their captain under the bus. And my only question is, let's say, by the way, truth be told, Babar hasn't been a great captain. I'm not criticizing him for his batting. He's had a few good knocks here and there. And let's not judge him too early. He's a very good batter. And let's not judge him too early, just as we allow, a long rope to some of good Indian batters. I think Babar also deserves that. So I'm not going to judge him as a batter. He's played a couple of good innings as well. But Babar, the captain, I think all of us would agree, and not just us, the cricketing world at large would agree that he's been a very passive captain, has not been proactive, has not taken the right decision, and has not been imaginative as well. So those issues you can clearly see with Babar, the captain. And if he was to be dropped as captain, I don't think it's a wrong thing. My only question is, and chip in, you guys, what do you think? My only question is that the tournament is still on. They still have 4 games to go. I mean, crazier things have happened in cricket. Pakistan, all the more. I know they're not looking like a team. You ask me, they're not looking like a team that is going to win 4 out of 4. But I'm saying crazy things have happened. You never know.
Yeah.
You know, and when they are pushed against the wall is when sometimes they bounce back. They could win those 4, right? And get 12 points. So you have 6 wins that you needed. You qualify automatically. It can happen. But once you're going to send a press release like this, done.
You've set the cat among the pigeons.
You've pretty much finished them, killed them. If there was going to be any sort of a resurgence, like you're, hungry that, I'm going to pull away. Once this comes, Babar knows captaincy is gone. I don't know how. I mean, some people might say that this may fire them up even more and Babar scores hundreds and hundreds. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Pretty poor from the board to have done something like this in the middle of the tournament.
I mean, isn't it vintage Pakistan? I mean,
No, the cricket, yes, but this kind of press release would not come.
I mean, I am surprised.
remember.
I am surprised with the fact that Pakistan is sending so many press releases. That
That's
is one thing.
No, but that they are far more transparent in their communication
That's true.
than the board of control for cricket.
Cricket in India, absolutely.
Where even now all stories about Hardik are out without a single official statement.
Yeah.
Without a single. At least on that front you get to know. In fact, in Pakistan's game, they can be blamed for giving even more injury details that are required. As I have pointed out many times before.
Shoaib Akhtar.
In Shoaib Akhtar's
Shoaib Akhtar's case,
So they
yeah.
are guilty of giving extra details.
Oh my
BCCI
goodness.
they don't give.
No, I mean, I am sorry.
Good
As far
time
as-
to be revisiting that.
Please do. It's available online.
I mean,
Very good piece in the Guardian.
Was it in the guy?
Guardian.
BCCI, my goodness, I mean, their communication, they should open a communications department,
They have a communications department.
which is empty, which is
They are
bereft of ideas.
They are
Just a
people,
couple
but
of
they can't
personnel.
do much. I mean, they
But now they're doing videos, na?
What videos?
They're busy producing videos and all these days.
Only feel good factors. All the other outside noise, they just don't care.
But that's been the thing, no? As far as communication is concerned, how often were we told about the status of recovery as far as Shreyas Iyer is concerned, KL Rahul is concerned, Jasprit Bumrah is concerned? We almost made things and interpreted things given all those reports and the fact that these players had started to put things on their Instagram handles much before the BCCI made anything public.
They at least had some transparency during the Sachin Tendulkar elbow injury saga.
No, at one point they used to.
Yeah.
We used to get.
There used to be a lot more transparency.
It's gotten progressively worse.
Yeah.
Very cagey now, very cagey.
Yeah, I have covered cricket at the time. I kid you not. For a small thing also, I could call up the BCCI president. I have spoken to Jagmohan Dalmia for small matters. He was a BCCI president. I would pick up the phone and call him.
Yep.
Now?
Now it's not that I can't reach or I can't call. Of course I can, but the information is not very forthcoming in these matters. Earlier you knew exactly what is happening in terms of injury. What's the injury? You would have press conferences. The selection press conferences were a regular feature after every selection. Now I'm happy they've restarted, which is great.
I think the last
surprised that Ajit and Rohit came down here to Delhi and then nobody was
after
expecting that
also
pressure to happen.
No, World Cup also they did it, which
Yeah,
is pretty
they did.
nice. Which
Just
is how it
before
should
the
be.
Asia Cup and they did it now, right?
Yeah.
I think the last two did it was Vengsarkar. Press conferences.
Uh,
No.
MSK did
Chetan
one.
also did a couple. Chetan Sharma did a few.
MSK did one, I remember.
MSK did a few.
Yeah.
That time again they had restarted.
Chetan
but
had
then
done
it's-
one on the 31st, I remember.
Yeah. But they were on and off. But earlier it was just a regular feature. After every selection, you had to have a press conference. It was
conference,
a pretty
yes.
normal thing. Anyway, you were saying about Pakistan. Sorry.
In Pakistan, if you look at it,
the press release.
Look at 1992. Okay, same situation. 5 matches. They had just won 1.
Yeah.
Okay, they had lost to West Indies. They had lost to South Africa. They had lost to India badly. The game against England got abandoned. They got 1 point out of it. Now they don't even have that 1 point benefit because I don't see any of their games getting impacted by rain.
Yeah.
They have got 4 tough games now. Tomorrow it's against South Africa in Chennai. They have got one against Bangladesh on 31st
Which they
in
could
Kolkata. Then they have got one against New Zealand on 4th
England.
and England.
Last is England for them.
Yes. So that is why Pakistan, as Nikhil said, do have a chance.
You know what they've done is I think they've been overly active active over the last week or so. Again, what that previous press release did
You know
was...
why? You know why, nah? Because I'll tell you why. Because you got to understand the workings of Pakistan cricket. So, unlike in India, where BCCI are the whole and soul, there's not too much government interference, and no matter how much media pressure you have, they're not going to budge because it's their way or the highway. That's the truth.
Right. Yep.
But in Pakistan, what's written in the press, what's spoken in the press makes a huge difference in terms of who stays on in the PCB or which government is there and all of that. So what happens is now they're in a bad shape. So what does the in Urdu the Afsaran, the officer class of the PCB, what are they going to do? They're going to do damage control. So that is why this extra thing. Also, when you put these things out, you're telling media at large, listen, we have allowed everyone. It's not our fault. Boss, these two are the guys. We as whatever chairman, CEO, whatever different, we have done everything. This cricket mess, we even gave them contracts just before they were going. We have provided them with all facilities.
Plum contracts.
But the problem lies with the players. So it's how the whole environment, how the ecosystem.
I think the answerability over there is far more, because just extending to your point, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the fact that we know how closely related politics, rather, the dispensation and the PCB is. We know about, it's out in the open about the present connections between the present dispensation and Zaka Ashraf, and that's been the case with PCB, before as well. We know how the party in charge often has their representative, let's say, as at the helm of the PCB. So the opposition, you're under pressure. Let's say, just how politics works. Opposition is always going to ask questions from those in the center.
If we start taking PCB very seriously, we are only shooting ourselves in the foot. Because it's not the first time that they have done this. You look at even 2009-10, okay, when the entire Yusufyana episode happened in Australia. They were hammered 3-0, 5-0 in the ODIs. They lost the T20Is also. Pakistan were tour washed in Australia in 2009-10. That time, infighting, everything, what happened? PCB released a statement, Yusufyana, lifetime ban. Yunus Khan, 5-year ban. What happened? Immediately after that, they came within 1 year. Yunus then rediscovered his form and became one of the greats of Pakistan cricket.
No, that may still be the case.
Yeah.
But they may fire Babar, which seems like it, after the World Cup, unless a miracle happens from here on.
Even ENG goes out.
But then doesn't matter, you'll come back. But why this statement is coming out, as I said, because now is the time to set the narrative. You know that after they are going to be out, okay, hell is going to break loose. They're on the verge of that. So then finger pointing will start. So this is a defense mechanism from PCB side when they keep sending. So they're saying, why this is also happening. Now you got to understand why is the PCB saying, and what is the narrative that is being set. That's been set by former players now.
Yes.
If you listen to a lot of their former players, they have been blaming the PCB for this mess. You know what they are saying? They're saying, you didn't have a fitness camp, you didn't have a camp before this, why did you send them to Sri Lanka and make them tired? What was the need to play Afghanistan in Sri Lanka? What was the need to have a hybrid model where you kept tiring our players traveling in and out for Asia Cup? What was the need to change coaches? What was the need to get a Mickey Arthur when Sakleen was doing a good job? Why are you paying Mickey Arthur so much more money? So these are the questions that I've been hearing. These are the questions that former Pakistani players are now raising. So Pakistan's poor performance, that's rare. Former players have not been very critical of the team. They've been quite supportive of the team, which is also unusual. But they've been targeting the PCB, saying this is the problem. So what does the PCB do? Defense mechanism. You'll see these releases, these things coming out where they're actually saying, no, we are not at fault. We gave everything to their ass. We gave them contracts. We allowed Inzi, the chairman, everything. You decide the team, boss. Whatever. Babar, full hand. You decide who you want, where you want to play, what series. You've gotten everything, and this has happened. And we will now take appropriate action, saying that now the whole blame is going to fall on you. That is so there's a background to it, and there's nothing new there. I just also wanted to read, just getting back to England, the statement made by Joss Butler after the thing, where he's saying it's very tough to digest what has really happened, but in that he's saying, we are playing long way short of our best. All of that is understood. and you don't become a bad team overnight. Also, I agree. So, but the only thing is where he says, can't put my finger on one particular reason why it is happening. So, I think we need to help our good friend Josh Butler out. Josh, please do watch this video. You can't put your finger on the reasons. We've put one of the biggest reason. Please go at the start of our video, which is evident why England are playing. Again, just to sum it up, one, their obsession with playing aggressive cricket and not being mindful of the situation, not being aware of game situation, obsessed with aggressive cricket. That's one reason. Reason two is you're cribbing about, various other things around cricket. People are not coming to the ground, stadiums are empty, outfield is not good. You're cribbing. That's reason number two. Reason number three is how confused you were in your selection. Selecting players now, making 4 changes. Previously, you lose 2 games, 4 changes. Then again, you lose a game, 3 changes next game. Your selection. That's reason number 3. Reason number 4, you cannot come and scare, which is what we said about Pakistan's Haris Rao. You cannot come and scare, batters with pace. Mark Wood and co work with good, genuine pace in English conditions and all other conditions. Here, our Jasprit Bumrah is also pretty quick, but he's developed a lot of variations to trouble players, right? So you needed to look beyond that. You needed to bring a Liam Plunkett type. Okay, you needed to have various other innovation to be. Just pace was never going to help you. So these are various reasons why England haven't done well. So because he has said that I really can't put my finger on it, we thought that we'll just put our entire hand, give you 5 reasons.
5 reasons.
Why they haven't been doing well. And anyone, I'm sure our knowledgeable subscribers also tune in would either agree with this or come up with their own reasons. So Josh, you're a good guy. You come here, play for Rajasthan Royals. We like you. You've played earlier for other franchises as well. You've been a top scorer in an IPL season. We like you all that. But so we thought, let's be helpful. Point of view season.
It's like Pakistan and England, same kind of situation. Even Pakistan complained, the board rather complained, calling us the enemy state.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Then raising an issue of fan behavior, okay. Then also, Mickey Arthur didn't say that. It was one of the factors, but he said, it looked odd. BCCI event, not an ICC event, kind of. So they are distracted by off-field issues. It's no surprise that 2 of them are 6th and 9th respectively.
Pakistan pretty much remind me of what Australia were like when they'd come for the Border Gavaskar earlier this year. Even before the Nagpur test match, they were like,
spooked.
this is this, we are not happy with the pitch, part of it was watered, this and that. Just shot themselves in the foot, never turned up, match over, 3 days, gone.
But see, they changed their attitude after that.
But there was just one match, and that too, Steve Smith was the captain then.
Yeah, but no. But after that, even Ahmedabad, they did well. So from there on, they mounted a comeback. Why? Because if you now go back to those press conferences, they stopped complaining. The players did.
Yes.
Their media kept on.
Yeah.
The players said, doesn't matter. That's the it. Doesn't matter. Give us whatever you want. We're going to fight it out. And that's where they put up a much better fight going forward from there. From there. Because their players did not complain. All the complaint was from the Australian media that would write these long articles, these conspiracy theories, and those swastik signs were whatever happened in the pitch. So, but that's the thing. You go, you look at the pitch, you say the condition. That's all. You got to embrace the conditions.
Yes.
I went back to that Australian example. Embrace it. This is a challenge, right? Like Indian players earlier used to complain about going to England and Australia, bouncy pitch here, swinging conditions there. As soon as you change your mentality, where you said, no boss, bouncy, we've got fast bowlers. You bring out bounce, we'll hammer you. Virat Kohli led from the front, batted like that, told the team like that. They played like Aussies in Australia. So as soon as you start enjoying the condition and take it as a challenge, that this is what your job is, to excel in these foreign conditions, which is why these are foreign conditions.
True.
You look like a different team. So I think that's one other thing that was missing in England.
500 in England previous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma got. But though that time pitches were also quite, barring that semi-final, 2019, most other pitches were like padding paradise.
Even Southampton, that Afghanistan game also that wasn't a high scoring encounter if I can remember.
Yeah. 230 odd, I think.
Yeah. 220 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So
questions you have?
Yeah, there are questions, a lot of them.
A lot of them.
Yep.
Today, Shivam's a bit lazy and slow.
Lax.
Yeah, he's not on the ball. He's not on the ball. Okay, let's go.
Plenty
one
of
by
questions,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ashish Dhar, let's start with him. He says, Indian former players doing well as coaches for foreign teams. Jadeja, for example, for Afghanistan. Sandeep Patil for Kenya. Maybe England needs a Jadeja-like coach.
That's a good one, but though Jadeja as coach, England not happening. Did I tell you I did speak to Ajay Jadeja a couple of days ago on the phone. So I haven't told you guys also. So first thing I said, सर आपको तो अब IPL टीम से 1-2 फोन आने वाला. He started laughing. He said नहीं यार मुझे कोई नहीं फोन करेगा. So I said नहीं you are helping the Afghanistan, and typical Ajay, he is never the one to take credit. So he said nahi yaar, I have done nothing for the team, I am just with them. He in fact said that out of all my life experiences, and he's had some great experiences and I know some of those, so he said this is one of the best experiences of my life. He said just traveling with this team, their campaign, being involved with their Afghanistan's campaign is just one of the. And I said, you are saying that one of the best experience of your life, considering you had those 2 trips to South Africa, which he can't stop raving about when as a player, when he went for the first foreign team to have reached South Africa 92, when India went. I've heard so many stories from him about that tour and the blast that they had on that tour. So I said, you are the guy who's had those kind of experiences, yet you're saying traveling with this Afghanistan team is one of the best experiences of your life. He said, yeah,
Wow.
it is. He said, so lovely to be around these guys, the spirit that they have, the way they are fighting. So he was telling me about how he's just trying to be a positive influence and just keeping them happy. By the way, we have the interview with Afghanistan's coach, it's a nice time to plug it, by Raiz Ahmadzai, who's the assistant coach of Afghanistan. We have an interview up on Sports Day. It's already up, Shivam? No, it's going to be up very soon. So he's spoken about Ajay Jadeja's influence in the team. So he talks about how he became an Ajay fan when he saw Ajay play an inning against Pakistan in Chennai. No, not the Bangalore. He remembered some. So he said, so he himself was very happy that Ajay is there and the influence. So I was just asking him. So he's saying nothing much that Ajay is doing. He's basically, reminding them of their own history. Of Afghanistan's history, of how they fought so many wars, won so many wars. So he said, yeah, you guys come from a race of warriors, of tribesmen, who never allowed any country to rule over them. So that's the spirit you need to take on the field. So they're going in with that kind of spirit, and 2 upsets already. By the way, we're discussing about so many teams. Afghanistan, if they win 4, they go through. I know it seems unthinkable, but they're playing Sri Lanka and Netherlands.
Yeah.
So that's 2. They have Australia, South Africa.
Yeah.
Tough. But I'm saying it's a dream.
Yeah.
It's a dream that they're living. It's a dream. Who knows? Funny things happen.
Yeah.
So, but I spoke to him about it. He said we're not thinking that
I
far.
know.
We're just he in fact said that if you beat Australia in Olympic, one more win it'll be a dream World Cup for us. What else do you want? What else?
Of course. I mean, Sri Lanka, Netherlands, they can win 2. If they beat Australia, man, it's like a cricketing equivalent of a Richter 10 earthquake.
Yeah.
Bangalore, where are they playing?
They are in Mumbai.
Okay, so next one.
Vishal Panchal from the US. T20 has ruined ODI. Players are used to T20 in the last few years. Sorry to say, but this World Cup is not exciting as last one, barring couple of matches.
Vishal Panchal, you're absolutely right. You've echoed exactly what we've been saying here on Sports Today. That's why I said T20 cricket, we can all be happy. It's a different skill, I agree. But ODI cricket is a completely different skill. Just as some ODI batters struggle in T20, you also got to understand that T20 batters cannot walk on water.
Correct.
They also will have vulnerabilities when it comes to ODI. It's basically an exchange. If I develop one skill, at the pinnacle of that skill, there will be an exchange where my other skill is going to come down. It is because at the end of the day, a human brain or capabilities, we're all blessed with the same thing, right? So if we excel in one thing, there will be an exchange. In other things, you may not be very good. So if you're going to excel in hard hitting, seeing the ball and hitting it, then maybe your ability to play different gears will be very tough. Which is why the great batsmen, why are they great? Because they're such rare breeds who can adjust to different situation very well, and I completely agree. And what we have done, and which is why I feel sorry, that we have started rating T20 batsmanship skill as higher, and somehow started, looking at ODI batting skill as inferior. Why? ODI is a different form. That skill is completely different.
Yep.
True.
And why should it be inferior to anything?
I know, because that's the problem. We are looking at yardsticks. For example, IPL is considered to be the yardstick. But then if it's different formats, use that different thing as a benchmark. Now ODI, what are the previous 5-6 ODI series that you played? Use that as the benchmark. Test matches, use 5-6 previous test matches as your benchmark.
Yeah.
Can't mix formats anymore. That's the problem.
You couldn't have at any stage.
Yeah.
But now it's happening.
Like he actually adds on, Vishal, says that ODI needs determination compared to T20. Test need another level of determination. I worry ODI and Test matches won't survive long with so much money in T20. I mean, I'm with you, Vishal. I'm the same club. I also worry about it sometimes. Though I feel that Test cricket
Might just scrape through.
Yeah, it's how can you not have Test cricket? Again, but as I said, we don't know. Sometimes we when we look at the future, maybe our future is always 10, 20, 30 years, right? But we don't know 100 years what happens. Anything is possible. Don't know. But if there's a generation after 50, 60 years who do not get to see Test cricket, I will only feel bad for that generation.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Because there is no sport, ladies and gentlemen, that has something like Test cricket. Nothing compares to that. T20 cricket can be compared to a game of football, a game of rugby, whatever, fast pacer. Test cricket has no comparison.
Yep.
Absolutely no comparison in any sport across the globe. It's so unique. It is so unique. 5 days of cricket, each session so different.
Ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows, the highs and lows.
Yeah. I mean, when you tell this, as I said, if you tell this to anybody, that 5 days of match, you can still get a draw, and they may laugh and say, what a silly thing. But that's because you do not understand the nuance of that. Yeah. Once you start understanding it, then you will be like, it has the complexity of chess and even more so.
Yeah.
And if you look at each session differently, the excitement of a quick football, rugby, kabaddi match or whatever. And the larger context very different.
At times, even in the last hour of play, you don't know where the match is headed because there are all three results possible.
That's why I say it's so unique. There is no other sport like this.
Yep.
Test cricket is that.
All 5 results,
makes cricket so different. Yeah. Test cricket is what makes cricket so different as a sport.
Exactly. There are 5 results. Just like 5 days, there are 5 results possible in test matches.
But what I again, I mean, that's not a yahtzee, but what I will tell at least the viewers who watch us, that I do see. We don't have a humongous amount of people watching us, who have a limited amount ever watch. But I do see the same kind of interest that we're seeing in a T20 World Cup or an ODI World Cup during test matches as well. Yeah. We go live, unlike a lot of other platforms that just don't care about test cricket. We do test cricket here on Sports Today very seriously. And I'm happy to say that the amount of people that watch us during a T20 World Cup or an ODI World Cup, quite similar in test cricket also. Yeah. So I'm happy with that response. So I'm happy that there still exists an audience and they want it. So
we saw those numbers in front of us in the recently happened West Indies series.
That's what I'm saying. Generally in test cricket,
Exactly. Rohit from US is saying the biggest upset will be India losing to England.
Actually, now it does. That's nicely put, Rohit. I mean, at the start of the World Cup, if somebody said this.
You take it.
No. If somebody said the biggest upset will be, India losing to England, I'd be saying, are you crazy? It's a 50-50 game. Anyone can win or lose. It's not an upset. But now when you look at the context of how the tournament's gone by, that's true, Rohit. I mean, now if India loses to England, it'd be an upset.
Although the biggest upset has already happened in this World Cup. Netherlands beating South Africa. I think that is the biggest upset.
I completely agree.
Sports Warrior is like asking, Nikhil, is Motera Stadium overhyped? Would you say it is the best cricket stadium in India? On TV, maybe because of the colors, it doesn't seem beautiful. What are your 3 favorite India stadiums?
Yeah, I don't think Ahmedabad makes it to my 3 most favorite India stadiums. I do see a lot of aesthetic needs to be involved in making a stadium beautiful. My number 1 favorite stadium in India, and nothing comes close.
Dharamsala?
No.
Huh?
No.
Eden Gardens.
Eden Gardens.
Okay.
Nothing comes even close to an Eden Gardens. 1 for its history, 2nd for its atmosphere. Nobody can replicate the energy of an Eden Gardens. And I have seen cricket in majority of India stadiums, at least all international India stadiums, and covered it, and globally as well. Eden Gardens can compete with the best in the world, if not the. Actually, in terms of atmosphere, it'd be right up there. So the atmosphere that you get at Eden, it's something else. They love their cricket. In fact, they love their sport. Which is why you see contrasting issues also, which is why you see game being disrupted. But it's just it's a downside of being highly emotional about something. So Eden Gardens for me, the atmosphere, the ground, the history, all of it put together, the energy there is just something else. When you're in the ground, it's just something else. So goosebumps is what you get there. So number 1. Also my first ever international game that I saw was in Eden Gardens.
Eden Gardens.
So then that also a lot of childhood memories, having seen a lot of games there.
India, South Africa, right?
No, that also I saw, but the first game was 89 Pakistan West Indies final of the Nehru Cup.
Oh,
Nehru Cup.
Salim Malik's tournament.
Yeah, I saw Viv, and I only got to see Viv. Viv bat, he came out. I think he got 31, if I'm not mistaken. Pakistan won that tournament. So I remember that.
So that time you were doing journalism?
Yeah, 1989, yeah.
You're 11 years old, 11 or 12 years old.
19, how will I be doing joy? So my father took me, first game, right? He took me to watch a game, just like any kid growing up, right? So like your father's always a cricket fan, most of our fathers would have been. So he wanted to, and so he took me. Then I also saw the South Africa, first game after apartheid. I saw that live. And that I didn't get great seats. This one I got fantastic seat, clubhouse seats. So I actually saw Viv come out from under, because the players would come from there and I was in the clubhouse on top. So I remember him going, and that was lucky how I saw it. Actually, it was my school day, and that day I had fever, so I'd skipped school, I was sleeping. And my dad got last minute tickets. So he came from office in the middle saying, got tickets. So I had fever, and then the fever vanishes. In the sense I popped in a pill, I went. And luckily those seats were good, so not the sunny stand, so it was fine. Then I remember he got me some soft drink and something to eat. So I watched that lovely day. But the next match where I didn't get great tickets, but I just wanted to go because of the historical match of South Africa playing their first game after apartheid. Also at Eden Garden.
22 years.
So I didn't get great seats. So I was sitting in the square area. When I will never forget that. And South Africa batted first and didn't get too many runs, 180, 90, something like that, I remember. And I was like, this India will win. And then I will never forget that Alan Donald bowls the first over, and from square, I couldn't see the ball. See, front on, you'll see the ball no matter how quick. Square, if it's quick. I just remember him leaving the ball and the keeper catching it. I was like standing so far back. I was like, that kind of pace. Before that, I'd seen Kapil Paji bowl, who was at the fag end of his career.
Correct.
Even though he got a wicket in the first over, I still remember he got a bowl.
I think he got over. Peter Kirsten, I guess he got.
Kirsten or Cook, one of them.
Jimmy Cook maybe.
Yeah, may have been Jimmy Cook. One of them he got. So he got, but that pace versus here, a young Alan Donald, woof, the ball was. I was like, man, this is quick. So fast bowler. And see, that's the thing about Calcutta. People start talking, the murmurs. A very knowledgeable crowd. They'll be in Bengali. Look at this guy's pace. So Eden number 1 for me. Sorry, I just went on an emotional journey. Eden number 1. Second favorite ground. Ooh. Wankhede is a good shout out. Chepauk is a good shout out. Dharamshala is a good shout out.
Pune?
Pune, Dahonje. I saw games in the earliest Nehru Stadium. filthy stadium. Gaunje is much more nicer.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't come in my top 3.
My top 3: Dharamsala, Vizag, and Chennai.
Vizag is beautiful because the place itself is so beautiful.
Yes.
But not the ground so much. What would be
The ground, you got the hills in the backdrop.
I'll put Mohali there in my top 3.
Ah.
I'll tell you why also. Again, memories, right, of my... I was in a boarding school which is about 1 hour drive from Mohali. And that's when Mohali was inaugurated, while I was in my boarding school. And I remember that semi-final, West Indies, Australia 96 World Cup, that was being played, and I was in the 12th grade at the time, but I was in my boarding school. So from my school, you could see Chandigarh, which was just a cluster of lights. You could see there's a city there from the hills, right? You can see us. But you could see the stadium because the light that would come from the stadium would be so different to the rest of the city, right? You'll see one area which is like extra bright with... So I remember watching that match on TV in the hills, my boarding school. And if I was to look out, I could also see those lights far away, like tiny bit of... So very romantic. And then I saw a few games there. And it was a very new age stadium at the time, low floodlights.
Correct.
And some outstanding matches. So I'm going to put Mohali there.
Mohali, yeah.
So there's Mohali, there's
You didn't see the first game, the 94 Test match, West Indies India?
No, I didn't see that, no. So 2 I've decided. You've gone with Dharamshala, Eden?
I've gone with Dharamshala, Vizag, and Chepauk.
And Chepauk. Okay.
I'll go with Dharamshala for sure, and I'll put Wankhede. Third, I'm also...
Wankhede is also a good shout, yeah.
I'm just
I'll
unsure
put
of a
Wankhede.
third.
The old Wankhede was much better than this new one.
I agree. But I'd put Wankhede again for 2 things. The 2011 final
History,
I saw, I was
exactly.
there. Sachin's last game,
Yeah,
I was there. So, and I've covered a lot of games in the Wankhede. I covered that test match. India won Australia 2004.
Oh yes, 6 wickets. Clark
Picked up wickets. Crazy win. Absolutely crazy scenes. Yeah, I think I put Wankhede. So those are my 3.
Yep. Ashish Dhar is saying, how to select winner if match tied in super over? You play the super over again.
And again.
Until you get a winner.
Exactly. No more boundary count, no mathematic, only scoreboard.
Thank.
The new rule after 2095.
Yes, sir. New rule after...
That fiasco of 2019. Yep.
Not sure if it's fair to call it a fiasco.
It was
those are the rules.
It was a rule.
existed.
It was a rule.
No, we're glad they've
Yeah,
of course.
I know.
figured
Welcome
out a
change.
better-
Welcome change. Shubham is asking us, hi, Nikhil, Harshit, Sid. Is Klaasen one of the best batters in recent times? Little to no movement and smashes like he will tear the ball. Scary sight. I mean, Klaasen is proving to be one of the best players at this
But
point.
little to no movement, I'm not sure. But I think he's got good feet movement, yeah.
I think he's that stand and deliver guy.
I'll tell you what, he just recently said that, he had a start to a career and then a lot of people wrote him off. And that's what really fired him up and he really changed his game. I just said it. And truth be told, I think I was one of those people that completely wrote him off. I saw him play against India a few times.
But then I think it was that series only where he got some runs as well. I think it's a 50.
One.
He got a 50. I
Yeah,
think,
but
against India.
other times
Johannesburg.
he looked completely like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
I'm being honest that I thought that he didn't belong at the international level because at certain dismissals that he had and certain times he would look so clueless. I was like, no, he's cut out. And then when he got those runs, I thought, wo ek lappa lagta hai, one guy, now he'll get a few more games.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest, I didn't think he was cut out. From that class into this, there's been a big change and I stand corrected in terms of that. But is he the best batter? No. I think he's very good against spin. Yes. His ability to play against spin is great. But we've also seen him in the IPL struggle till very recently. So he's been a hit and a miss player.
Correct.
But can't be the best with so many other creates around. But he's dangerous, no doubt, at the moment.
Will be the key factor on November 5. That too at Eden.
True.
Yep. So any other questions apart from this?
Vishal, I want to take, he says, Nikhil, sorry to hear that you bowled 3 very expensive over in your match. Vishal, you're absolutely right. It was the worst day of my life. I've never had a game like that.
He's talking about that game?
Where we lost by over 200 runs in a T20 game.
Yeah.
Absolutely pathetic. But see, those are learnings. I can never get worse than that.
Yeah, the higher you are, the bigger is the fall. Yeah.
We are
No,
up
but
against
that's okay.
semi-professional, or rather should
That's
I say
okay.
professional
No,
guys.
but I still.
I have no this thing
No,
about
but
it.
no. I fancy myself to have picked up wickets against whoever I play. One thing was it was a short ground, so
Yeah.
some of the things which, as a spinner, where I know that I can miss hits, they'll go for a catch. Here, where I did deceive him and he missed it, it still went for a six. So there was not much that I can do today.
Okay, that's
But
small.
but that's a lesson, right? I wouldn't. It doesn't matter who I play with. Even if I played a couple of games with international cricketers, we never had this kind of hammering. So you don't want to be in this situation, no matter who you play with.
So was
You
the
should
square
trust your-
boundary 30 meters?
No, square was still bigger. It's the straight.
Straight.
Oh.
So straight was very short.
Very short.
So a couple. See what happens is that it wasn't a great pitch. You know, we're bowling with a wet ball. We bowled new. So at least I'm just talking about my bowling as a spinner. I was finding it very tough to grip. Now the only way I could deceive is with pace. The ball is not turning much with pace. What was happening? I'm not saying all. I got hammered for some very good stroke. Absolutely genuine, very good batters. But what happens is you get hit for one or two. Then that's my chance to get away. So couple of times I did deceive him with pace and he did not time it but still went over. So now what do? You have no option. Then you are just waiting for him to make a
Mistake.
very bad mistake, which they did not. So you got hammered. In my 3 overs I went for about 20 and over, so
Yeesh.
about 60 odd runs. So which is never happened, but again it's a lesson.
Yeah.
To
it
find
is.
a way to be better.
Indeed.
Okay.
Dex is saying, if India does not win the World Cup, then it has to be South Africa this time. No one deserves World Cup more than them, not even New Zealand.
Why not New Zealand? Dex, we've discussed this yesterday.
What wrong have South Africa?
Yeah,
done
I
to
think
not deserve?
it's a close call between New Zealand and South Africa. Any one of them, if it's not India, I'd want any one of them to win. And if New Zealand is one, I wouldn't be surprised. Why not? Poor guys have come so close. Such nice guys, yeah.
I know.
You have to beat in New Zealand to realize how. I mean, they are the most wonderful people that I've met, the Kiwis. The most wonderful people.
Exactly. So let's see.
Chalo.
They have got 2 important games now coming up. New Zealand versus Australia on the 28th. That's a day game. South Africa have got their big game tomorrow.
That's why
Pakistan.
I'm saying that when we were saying about Pakistan qualifying or somebody else coming in with those 5 wins, Australia also has tough games coming up. Like New Zealand and Australia is a 50-50 game.
Yeah. New Australia, England, that's a difficult game.
Yeah.
But then they've got Afghanistan and Bangladesh coming up.
Afghanistan, who knows?
Yeah. In Mumbai, maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yes.
So, yep.
Yeah. So,
On that note,
yep. Let's focus for tomorrow, which is South Africa versus Pakistan. If their Kudrat-e-Nizam has to happen, it has to happen tomorrow.
It has to start tomorrow.
Otherwise, it's
Too late.
Tata Pakistan, Tata England, even on 29th if it
In
happens.
2024.
No, see you in 2027. ODI World Cup.
ODI, this
that-
another World Cup coming up.
Oh boy, let's not even get there. Okay, so from Nikhil, me and Harshad, it's bye-bye. We'll be back with more updates. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. Don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.